Hey friends, what's happening? What's shaking? What's going on? This is Andy coming to you again from here at Andy's World of Bass, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my Bergantino Forte HP head. I just did the software update that Jim Bergantino sent me, and one of the coolest things about the way technology has evolved and how far things have come is that now the amp can be constantly evolved using firmware updates. So he sent me a link to a very simple to download firmware update. Popped it onto a little zip drive, and then did the update. Just uploaded it into the head, and now he was able to do some modifications to the drive function. Tone shaping. So here we are, and he just made it the low end part of the drive sound a little bit more fuller and a little bit more warm. So that was without the drive, and so what we'll do is we'll engage it. This is without it. Now we are engaged. Now, even at that setting, even when I engage it, but it's still the control is still set at 0. Already has a convincing kind of tube, slight chiminess, and a little bit of gritty character, a little bit of harmonic overtone is infused into the sound just simply by engaging it, but not even turning the control up. Again with nothing. Engaged. So already the harmonics, the harmonic content, whether playing harmonics or just regular, there's already a little bit more of that kind of what I would call a tube character is already there. Then by simply just bringing up the variable drive control, this is about 25%. might turn the tone down a little bit on the bass. send the drive all the way up, maxed up to 10. There's the drive control with the new update. And again, I'll just say one more time, with it engaged, but at 0, that's my favorite. You know, that little bit of harmonic overtone character that I'm talking about, you hear it now when it's all by itself in this environment, but when it's mixed in with the band sound, it doesn't sound like drive. It just sounds like you can hear the character of the bass better. You know, you can just hear it cutting through better, especially if you're playing in kind of any kind of a rock situation or getting heavier from there when you have distorted guitars, because the bass will cut through that. Will cut through that distorted rhythm guitar sound, and you'll just have more all the pitches and stuff that you play will be more audible, and it has that personality. Another place where that really comes in is when you're sustaining notes, you know, where you're going. When you're doing that kind of stuff, without it, it's all right. You know, it's full, it's fat, it's clean, it's clear, and everything like that. But when you just have that little bit of character, that kind of stuff is going to translate, you know, really, really well into the live mix or into the recording or whatever you're doing. So yeah, I'm really hip to this amplifier. I'm really, really, really loving it, especially the fact that I've tested it in a lot of different configurations in terms of the cabinets that it's capable of pushing and how it performs over the various different ohm loads. And you know, it sounds big, fat, and full, and punchy and tight with one 8-ohm cabinet, all the way down to running like, you know, 4 8-ohm cabinets at a 2-ohm load. You're able to, it's stable in all the different ohm loads, and it really, really performs outstanding. 1200 watts, that's a lot of headroom, that's a lot of reserve power. So I've said it before and I'll say it again, when I bring multiple cabinets to a gig, that when I'm playing outdoors, it's not about being loud. It's not, I play the same volume on deck, on stage, in our personal space of our band bubble. On stage, I'm the same volume all the time. I don't bring a big, huge amp and then play twice as loud as I normally do. I simply bring more speaker surface and more headroom so that I can maintain that full sound. And I can have enough reserve headroom to have my instantaneous stuff, my instantaneous low B bombs and my instantaneous transient attack stuff with slapping or with digging in. When I'm really digging in like that, you need headroom, especially when you're turned up at a moderate gigging volume. And when you're playing outside, there's no walls, so there's nothing for the bass frequencies to stick to or bounce off of. So they dissipate. They go for miles. So in order to maintain what I call the bubble on stage and extend that bubble all the way out to the front of the stage and excuse me, all the way over to the guitar player and just really fill up that whole performance space with that bubble, I find that a lot of speakers is what, a lot of speakers and a lot of headroom is what gets the job done. So when I have a big huge rig, it's not because I want to play twice as loud as normal, it's because I want to hear myself the same everywhere I play, regardless of whether I'm inside or outside. And not just me, but the band. Because I play in trios mostly, and in the trio, you know, you're carrying a third of the weight. You're filling a third of the space. So, you know, when the guitar player is soloing, and he goes into just playing single note line stuff, and he's soloing, the bass needs to remain very full, especially on stage, because you know, the PA can compensate, no problem, in front of house. That's no problem for the PA to compensate that. But in order for it to feel good on stage, in order for us to play well, it needs to feel good on stage. It needs to feel right. You need to feel like you're in that bubble where you really can hear each other and feel each other really, really well. So in all those regards, this amplifier kind of made a believer out of me that I wasn't before, because first of all, I've always been skeptical about any amp that claims that it can run at 2 ohms. I just always thought that there's too much heat involved, and it puts it into typically in other forms of technology and other forms of design, it can put it into a place of too much heat, and heat can be a problem. It almost always is a problem, you know, too much heat. That's where they overheat, and that's where you know, they can start to sag, they can start to get tired, and just problems can occur. So anyways, I stayed away from 2 ohm load, you know, just having blown up a couple amps in the past, and I was kind of gun shy about it. But I did take this one out, and I did run it down to 2 ohms on a gig this weekend, pushing, you know, one big 4 ohm Bergantino HG 412 cabinet and 2 Bear amplification 8 ohm cabinets, you know, had it at 2 ohms, and I had a big full sound, and I was working it really hard over the whole entire gig, which was 2 90-minute sets, and it was happening. And I kept coming back when I was, you know, in between songs, and I kept coming back, putting my hand on the amp, see how hot it was getting, and it was just like lukewarm, you know. It wasn't even breaking a sweat, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, finally there's a Class D amplifier that can behave and perform in a stable way down to 2 ohms, and it can, you know, do the job. It can give me confidence that it can do the job when I need, like I was saying, when I need that transient, that big transient stuff. I don't like having to chase around the amp all night long and kind of tiptoe around the tulips with it, thinking, oh, I've got a low C sharp coming. I better pull back a little bit. I don't want to dig into that C sharp too hard because my poor little amp, I might harm my amp. I hate having to have that mindset. I like to be able to just play throughout my full dynamic range. I'm not always digging in and always just bashing on the bass. I have control over my dynamics, and that is what defines me as a player, is my control over my dynamics. And that means I need the softest stuff to sound good, I need everything in the middle to sound good, and I need that loud stuff to sound good and be there when I need it, instantaneous. And I can't be tiptoeing around the tulips with my amp, afraid that it might clip or the speakers might, you know, fart out or deny or something like that. I need to have a rig that's just capable of going everywhere whenever I need it. And I finally found it in a Class D, you know, in a Class D lightweight 6.4 pound amp. And so just huge congratulations and kudos to Jim Bergantino for designing such a great, intuitive, and you know, functional amplifier. I encourage you to check one out, get one. You know, if you're used to that kind of big headroom sound and you like to run a couple of 410 cabinets or even a couple of 810 cabinets, this head will do it. It will do it all day, and it won't even break a sweat. All right, friends, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching all the videos. We'll see you next time. Peace.